In this gross reserving calculation, we are asked to first of all calculate the premium, and then secondly calculate a prospective and a retrospective reserve. In this part we will calculate the premium initially. The first step is to just identify all the components in the question. So what we have is we have premiums, and we are told these are annual, they're in advance, and there's a term of 25 years. We also have benefits. The benefit is £100,000. To the end of the year of death. And again, the death has to be within the term of 25 years. We also have expenses. And we are told that there's an initial expense of £500, and then there is an expense of 0.5% of every premium. What we do next then is we recall our equation of value. Remember, we're looking to equate the present value of any income with the present value of any outgo. Now in this situation, the income is just the premiums. So the present value of the premiums has to equal the present value of the outgo. And the outgo now is benefits and expenses. If we look at the premiums first of all, this is the easiest to calculate. So we don't know our premium, we'll just call it P for now. But the premium is annual, it's in advance, and it has a term of 25 years. Since the person is age 40 at the beginning of the contract, we can see that our 40 and our term 25 add up to 65, and we're able to find this annuity straight away from the tables. So the present value of our premiums is 15.884p. Present value of our benefits then. Well, our benefit is £100,000 and it's payable at the end of the year of death, term of 25 years, so it's 100,000 multiplied by a term assurance to a 40-year-old for a term of 25 years. And again, we calculate this by working out the endowment assurance from the tables and deducting from it the pure endowment part. So this is A 4025 less D65 over D40. Substituting in the figures then, what we find is that the present value of the benefits is 5346. If we look at the expenses, well, what we're told is that there's an initial expense of 500. The present value of that then is 500. There's no time value to add into that. And then we also have this 0.5% of every premium, which remember is unknown still. But every premium has a present value A.4025. Or 15.884 as we'd calculated earlier on. So if we bring everything together now then, what we have is 15.884p has to equal 5346, the present value of our benefits, plus 500 plus 0.005p multiplied by our 15.884. 0.884. Rearranging this then, we see that P is equal to 5346 plus 500 all divided by 15.884 multiplied by 0.995, which equals 370. You'll recall that our gross premium was calculated to be £370. We're now asked to look at the prospective reserve at the end of year 10. So this is going to be very similar to the net prospective reserve in that we are looking forwards and we're looking at future cash flows, and what we have is that the prospective reserve is the present value future outgo less the present value of future income. The only difference here when we're talking about a gross reserving calculation is that the outgo isn't just benefits. So the present value of our future outgo then, well, we have our benefit, our 100,000, and if we're looking at the future now, we're 10 years into the contract, the person is now age 50, there's only 15 years of the contract left, so the present value of that future benefit is a term assurance to a 50-year-old for a term of 15 years. We also have future expenses to think about, and the expenses we were told were 0.5% of every premium. So the future expenses are going to be 0.005 multiplied by that premium, 370, multiplied by present value of those future premiums, which is an annuity in advance to a 50-year-old for a term of 15 years. That's all our future outgo. We have to deduct from that the present value of our future income, and our income again is just the premiums, so that's £370 multiplied by A double dot 5015. If we substitute in the relevant values, making sure that we convert our term assurance into an endowment assurance first, what we find is we have 100,000 multiplied by an endowment assurance to a 50-year-old for a term of 15 years, which is 0.56719, less the D over D. D65 is 689, D50 is 1367, and then we have to add on 0.005 of this 370 less 370. So actually we're just deducting 0.995 multiplied by the 370 multiplied by our term annuity, and our term annuity is 11.253. So what we find in this case is that our prospective reserve comes out to be 2,173. Finally then we have our retrospective reserve, and recall our retro reserve is given by the accumulated value of past income less the accumulated value of past outgo. Now we're looking at year 10 of the contract, so what we want to do here is we want to think about that first 10 years, and we want to work out the present value of those benefits and expenses, and then we want to accumulate all of that up 10 years. So what we do is first of all multiply by our accumulating factor, and that's a D40 over D50. Because the person was 40 at the start of the contract, 10 years in, they are 50. The past income then was the premiums, which were £370. The present value of those we need to multiply by an annuity in advance to a 40-year-old for that 10-year period. We need to deduct from that all the past outgo. Well, there was this initial expense of 500 to take account of. There was also the annual expenses, which were 0.005 multiplied by the premium multiplied by the 10-year annuity, and also there were the benefits, 100,000 multiplied by term assurance for that first 10 years of the contract. Again, we have the problem here where the 40 and the 10 do not add up to 60 or 65, so we're going to have to calculate these items separately. So we do that for the annuity first. It's equal to a life annuity less discounted value of the annuity from age 50. And when we substitute in the figures again, we get 8.39. Similarly, we do the same for the term assurance. And in that case we get 0.0114. If we bring all of this together then, what we have is that the retrospective reserve is our D40 over D50. We look these up, we see that's 2053 over 1367 multiplied by 370 multiplied by 0.995, and here I've taken account of the annual expenses as well, multiplied by our annuity, which we calculated to be 8.39, less the £500 initial expense, less the 100,000 multiplied by the term assurance. And when we bring all this together, this comes out to be 2175.